Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Dean Rogers Show. Today we got another episode of Deals with Dean, and on this one, I'm going to tell a story about how I made $55,000 from a mobile home deal. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's go. All right, welcome back. Make sure to like and subscribe, but let's dive into this deal because it's so juicy. I couldn't believe how it all came together. So we got this lead that was a mobile home, and our acquisition manager said, hey, you guys should really look at this deal. I think it's a clean property, and we can get it for $30,000. Now, at first, I wasn't too excited about it because we've seen a lot of mobile homes in our market, and typically they just don't work out. The numbers don't work out, the HOA is too high, the condition of the property is not good enough, and it just fizzles out. The excitement's there for a flash, and then it's gone. Well, in this one, the more and more I heard about it, the more I got excited because I came to realize that we could buy this thing for $30,000, and the rent was currently $700, and the HOA was only $50. That was the first time I've heard such a low HOA. Typically, it's several $100s, which really squeezes that deal. And when I say several $100s, usually it's like $500-$600. So after talking a little bit more about it, my partner and I decided, let's keep this. For $30,000, the property was in good condition. It was already renting for $700 a month with an HOA of $50. It was already cash flowing really good. Cash on cash return would be great. Now the upside was that the tenant was already willing to move out, and we knew that we could rent this property easily over $1,000 once we got a new tenant in there because we own another mobile home that rents for $1,095, not nearly as good a shape. So I thought the story was going to end there and really nothing left to share with you. But it turns out that my acquisition manager was really eager and felt like there was greater opportunity in this deal. Now, we have a prearranged agreement with all of our acquisition managers. If we buy a property and keep it as a rental, they get a flat bonus, right? To be fair, of what typically an average deal would look like. Well, in this case, my acquisition manager took it upon himself to reach out to the buyer that we had originally have walk this property and take pictures for us, and wanted to see if they'd be willing to pay around $60,000. Now remember, we had this deal under contract for $30,000, and he saw if the buyer was interested at $60,000. Now typically $30,000 would be a great deal and you'd be interested in taking it, but again, the cash flow for us was so great that when our acquisition manager brought it back to us and said, hey, by the way, I have a buyer that would be interested at $60,000, we said, no thanks. We told you we wanted to keep it, and the property just makes a lot more sense for the cash flow. Well, our acquisition manager continued to talk with the buyer, and it ended up coming to the fact that the buyer was willing and able to pay $75,000 if we could get the tenant to sign a move-out agreement within 3 months, and that way they could increase the rents on the property and get a good return for themselves. By that time, my partner and I had another conversation and said, look, we want to keep this property. It's going to be great for cash flow. We were excited about it, and we thought to ourselves, we'd maybe consider it if we could sell it for $85,000, just to say, you know what, that's a good enough number, we'll sell it. But still, we're not really seriously consider selling it because there's not too many good deals you can come across like that. We just wanted to keep it as a rental. Well, believe it or not, acquisition manager went back to the buyer, had a conversation, and the buyer was willing to pay $85,000. Now, for us, we had that quick conversation and said, well, shoot, for $85,000, I guess we'll go ahead and sell it. So this turned from being a rental, great cash flow, to very quickly a $55,000 deal from a mobile home. Now again, mobile homes come in all different shapes and sizes and different price points and other different things that you need to be aware of. On this one, this was a great property. It was in good condition. It was newer year built, and it was at a low HOA. That's just what really made this a great deal for us from the beginning and for the buyer at the end of the day, and why they were willing to come up to $85,000. Now, all we had to do next was just go ahead and get that move out agreement signed with the tenant, which they were cooperative. We had that signed the next day, and then we got the assignment contract in place with the buyer and off to escrow. Now, an interesting thing was the buyer was just about to go on a prearranged vacation, so we determined we really wanted to close this thing fast. We didn't want to drag out the closing, so we got with escrow. We let them know it was going to be a cash deal. We got the buyer to sign, the seller to sign. We closed this in about 3 or 4 business days from the time we decided we wanted to assign it to this end buyer, and got it done really fast. So the lesson for myself on this one was, don't judge a book by its cover. Originally, like I said, wasn't too excited because it was a mobile home, but then very quickly was very excited to keep it as a rental, and then quickly after that ended up to become a $55,000 wholesale fee. I mean, what a great deal we were stoked about. And of course, my acquisition manager was super excited because he got a very nice bonus on that deal. All right, thanks again for watching. If you liked this story, make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.